Do you feel that? A spiritual exhaustion is spreading, like a sickness of our age. It isn't loud? No. It quietly gnaws away. An invisible fatigue, but clearly present in every breath. It's the obsession with control. We aren't just trying to control our careers or our health. We are caught in a hopeless war. A war to control things that are fundamentally outside our grasp. What other people think of us. The actions of our friends. The decisions of our family. And even the emotions of a stranger on the internet. This fatigue is palpable. It's so clear. It's the heaviness in your chest when you check your phone for the 10th time, waiting for a text that never arrives. It's the burnout after long hours, trying to fix a friend who is self-destructing. It's the simmering resentment when you realize you've done everything for someone, but they still don't meet your expectations. We analyze every word, decode every action, and in the end, we lock ourselves. We lock ourselves in a prison of anxiety and disappointment. And then, in the middle of this chaos, a simple, powerful philosophy emerges. It isn't a complex system. It's a mantra. A permission slip. 2 simple words. Let them. A friend doesn't invite you to their party. Let them. That information tells you where you stand. Colleagues are talking behind your back. Let them. You don't need to convince them of anything. Your family doesn't understand your career choice. Let them. That is their life. This is your life. The allure of this philosophy is undeniable. It's like an instant painkiller for souls who are tired of trying too hard. Why is it so seductive? Because it empowers you instantly. It cuts. It severs the invisible string between other people's actions and your emotions. It declares that you are not responsible for anyone else's happiness, behavior, or perception. It promises something we all crave. It promises peace. By shifting the focus from them, an uncontrollable variable, to you, the only variable you can control. This philosophy seems to open the door to freedom. It allows you to take back all the energy. The energy you wasted worrying, analyzing, or trying to change other people, and invest that energy back into yourself. This is step 1 of liberation. You can almost hear the sigh of relief. The chains seem to break, and for many people, it truly works. Until it doesn't work anymore. The problem is, many people see this as the finish line, when in reality, it's just the starting line. The liberation it brings, if not examined carefully, can curdle into a sophisticated form of indifference, a trap of avoidance. Look, the power of any idea lies in its context. The let them philosophy is a fantastic tool. Fantastic for dealing with the people on the periphery of your life, the acquaintances, the negative comments online, or a difficult coworker you rarely interact with. But when we start applying this formula mechanically, blindly, to our core relationships, a spouse, children, parents, a best friend, the line between liberation and irresponsibility begins to blur. It blurs dangerously. This is the toxic confusion between acceptance and avoidance. This philosophy is often confused with acceptance, accepting that you cannot control other people. But there is a huge difference, a fundamental difference, between accepting reality and using that reality as an excuse to avoid necessary conversations. Healthy, deep relationships are not built on passive acceptance. No, they are built on active effort. The effort to understand, to connect, and sometimes to confront. Conflict is inevitable, and it is often the catalyst for growth. When you apply, let them rigidly, you are abandoning your role in the relationship. You are choosing to quit. Consider these scenarios honestly. If your partner is struggling with depression, they start to isolate themselves. Is let them the answer? Or is that abandonment in disguise, dressed up in the costume of personal freedom? If your child is being bullied and lies to avoid going to school, is let them an act of respecting their autonomy? Or is it a failure of responsible love? If a close friend is falling into addiction, let them destroy their own life. Does that truly bring you peace? In these cases, let them is no longer an act of self-liberation. It becomes a justification for disengagement, for fear, the fear of facing complicated emotions, the fear of difficult conversations. It becomes just another form of selfishness, disguised as enlightenment. This philosophy borrows heavily from Stoicism, specifically the focus on one's circle of control. A Stoic focuses on what they can control, their reactions, their judgments, their own actions, and they accept what they cannot, the actions of others, external events. But here is the critical misunderstanding, a massive one. True Stoicism is not indifference. It is not withdrawing from the world and saying whatever. The core of Stoicism is virtuous action in spite of circumstances. It is about doing the right thing, the thing within your control, even when the outcome, the thing outside your control, is uncertain. If you see injustice, if you see cruelty, or if you see someone harming themselves, speaking up and intervening skillfully, that is within your control. To let them do the wrong thing when you have the power to act is not Stoic strength. It is cowardice or passive complicity. And let's talk about the trap of self-delusion, the trap of boundaries. Many people defend this philosophy. They claim it's a powerful way to set boundaries. But how do boundaries actually work? A healthy boundary, it requires clear communication. It is a declaration, a powerful statement. I do not accept behavior X. If you continue to do it, I will have to take action Y. For example, I will create distance. I will end the conversation. I will leave. To protect myself, this gives the other person a choice and a chance to understand the consequences of their actions. The let them philosophy often encourages the opposite. It encourages silent withdrawal. You say nothing. You just let them do what they do, and then you silently pull away. You build resentment, or you unilaterally cut off the relationship. This isn't setting boundaries. This is building walls. It robs the other person of the chance to understand, to explain, or to adjust their behavior. It slams the door on dialogue and calls it freedom. When practiced to an extreme, the let them philosophy isn't just a coping mechanism. It becomes a worldview. And this worldview, if you're not careful, will erode. It will erode the very foundations of what makes us human: connection, empathy, and interdependence. Let's talk about the erosion of empathy. Human nature is connection. We are social creatures, wired to seek understanding and mutual support. Empathy, the active effort to feel and understand another's experience, is the glue that holds relationships and communities together. When you apply let them as a knee-jerk reaction, you stop trying to understand. They didn't text back. Let them. They're showing me I'm not a priority. They canceled at the last minute. Let them. They don't respect my time. You see, this immediate reaction prioritizes protecting your ego over curiosity. Maybe they didn't text back because they are in the middle of a personal crisis. Maybe they canceled because they are mentally exhausted and didn't know how to say it. By immediately letting them, you refuse the opportunity to show empathy. You close the door on finding out why, because you were in such a hurry to conclude who they are. You choose the simple piece of judgment over the complex, sometimes messy, work of understanding. It is undeniable that this philosophy is, at its core, very self-centered. The entire focus is on protecting my energy, my peace, my life. In a world that celebrates individualism and self-care, this is incredibly appealing. But there is a truth we often ignore. The deepest relationships, the most resilient families, and the strongest communities. They are not built on total independence. No, they are built on interdependence. Interdependence means acknowledging that sometimes you must let your energy be affected by someone else. Sometimes you must place the needs of your sick partner above your own temporary peace. Sometimes love requires you to step into someone else's chaos, not to fix them, but to be present with them. If your peace requires you to be completely detached from the pain and complexity of the people you love, then that may not be peace. That is isolation. And here is a complex but vital psychological point. Sometimes we use this philosophy as a sophisticated defense mechanism to avoid looking at ourselves. Imagine you aren't invited to an event. The let them response is, let them. I don't care. I'll go do my own thing. This sounds powerful, very powerful, but it might be hiding a deeper question. Why does this hurt me so much? Is it touching my core fear of being abandoned, or my fear of not being good enough? Instead of sitting with that insecurity and examining it, instead of facing it, we rush to put on the armor of indifference. Let them becomes a way to rationalize our own wound. We aren't really at peace. We are just suppressing the emotion. We are lying to ourselves that we are over it, when in reality, we are just refusing to deal with our own internal injuries. So what then? If the let them philosophy is one extreme, a passive indifference, and trying to control them is the other extreme, an anxious intervention, where does real maturity and wisdom lie? It lies somewhere in the middle, in the complex gray area of life. The alternative to let them is not control them. The alternative is selective engagement or intentional concern. This is not an automatic reaction. It is an active, deliberate process. It requires far more effort than simply checking out. Before deciding to let them, an emotionally mature person stops. They ask themselves a few key questions. Question 1. What does this relationship mean to me? This is the first compass. If it's a stranger online, a coworker you rarely see, the answer is simple. Let them. Your energy is too precious. But if it's your parent, your child, or your best friend of 20 years, the answer is much more complicated. The more important the relationship, the greater your responsibility not to just let them. Question 2. Is this a pattern or an incident? Distinguishing this is key. If a friend who is always on time is suddenly 30 minutes late, that's an incident. To let them and judge them is a failure of empathy. Maybe they had an emergency. But if a friend is always 30 minutes late and never apologizes, that is a pattern. That is when it's time to set a clear boundary, not to punish, but to protect mutual respect. Question 3. Does speaking up serve a higher purpose? This brings us back to ethics. Is this a matter of safety? You see someone about to drink and drive. Is this a matter of justice? You see someone being treated unfairly. Or is this a matter of health? You see someone actively self-destructing. In these situations, silence is not strength. It is a moral failure. Let them becomes an excuse for apathy. Look at the power of dialogue instead of detachment. The let them philosophy almost always cuts off communication. It is a period, an end. But a more mature approach is communication. Communication rooted in vulnerability and curiosity. Instead of thinking, let them think badly of me, try saying, I feel hurt when I hear you say that. Can you share more about what you're seeing, so I can understand your perspective? Instead of telling yourself, let them not invite me, try if the relationship is close enough. I've noticed we haven't connected much lately, and I feel a little sad about it. Is everything okay? You see, this approach requires far more courage. So much more courage than simply retreating into your shell. It requires you to take a risk. The risk of being rejected, of being misunderstood. But it also opens the only door. the only door to real connection and true understanding. And this is the conclusion. Undeniably, the let them philosophy is a critical life raft. It is an essential tool to escape from drowning in anxiety, from the obsession with pleasing everyone and controlling everything. It is step one, detaching from the chaos to catch your breath. But it must never be the destination. It is a way station, not a permanent home. True power does not lie in indifference or in total detachment. True power lies in conscious choice. It is the wisdom to distinguish when a situation demands acceptance and when it demands action. It is the empathy to ask why before rushing to judge who they are. It is the courage to engage in difficult conversations for the sake of a relationship, instead of choosing the easy path of withdrawal to protect your own fragile peace. Wisdom isn't just let them. Wisdom is knowing exactly when you should let them, and more importantly, when you out of love and responsibility and courage absolutely cannot. That is freedom. Thanks for watching until the end. What was your favorite part? Please let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss my future content. Your support is my biggest motivation. Thank you all so much.